It's the 90s all over again. There's like 15,000 X titles.
No, there's not. Dan just likes to exaggerate with the size of things. There are only 10 titles out right now. And 2 inches.
Do they make X-Men anymore?
What kind of question is that?
And yeah, why is Wolverine a lady? Because I thought it was Old Man Logan.
We have 10 current X titles.
It's the 90s all over again, baby. We got X-Men
X-Factor,
Blue and
X-Man.
Gold. Nope. All right.
X-Force.
So we're going to kind of catch you guys up on what's going on with the X-Men. The kind of good things and the bad things that we haven't learned from our
So they
past.
do make X-Men.
They do make comic books, but it's probably, if you were to look at an X-Men comic book now and you're familiar with like 90s X-Men animated series, you're going to be like, who's that? Why is Wolverine a woman? Why is Cyclops young? Jean Grey's alive? Well, she was alive, but anyway.
So let's where did we leave off? Well, you remember way back when our Cyclops episode, you've got
like
mutant
Secret
hero
War.
Magneto Cyclops.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that guy's dead. Hank McCoy, the Beast,
Right.
brought the original 5 X-Men, Cyclops, Jean Grey, etc., back in time from the 60s
As women.
to now. So now we have those characters. The main versions of those characters are their young
Iceman?
selves. Those original, young X-Men are now core of the new X titles.
Okay.
Along with Lady Wolverine.
So what we have...
Why do you say Lady Wolverine?
Good. Okay. It's legit. It's a thing. So now we have 10 X titles, right? The X-Men books weren't selling. People were like, this is not good. So once again, the editorial was like, bam, we know what to do. We'll reboot everything. Not reboot like DC Rebirth or anything like that, but reboot as in we need a rehaul. We need some kind of change and direction that these characters need to be going. Let's just get everything together. X-Men Prime comes out. Kitty Pryde was Star-Lord for a little bit, but now she's back on Earth. She is now the headmaster of the Xavier School for gifted students.
Thank you. I was going to say it. But I didn't want Dan to hit you mad. Go ahead.
Because Professor X is dead. Wolverine is dead. Jean Grey's dead. Cyclops is dead. There's a lot of characters that are gone. Iceman.
How are they all dead?
Long story, but we're not talking about that right now.
Okay, fine.
We do care, because I miss him. Anyway, so, with X-Men Prime, it kicks off a new set of books. Mark Guggenheim is writing X-Men Gold, and Cullen Bunn is writing X-Men Blue. These two teams have nothing to do with the 90s X-Men, other than just name, really. Because X-Men Blue is now the original 5.
Right.
With an Ultimate Wolverine character that has shown up from the Ultimate Universe, and it's Ultimate...
Who is the son of Wolverine.
Another son of Wolverine from the Ultimate Universe, the guy with the blonde hair.
Because what they've done now is instead of having Wolverine on every team, they've now got a Wolverine on every team.
I thought you said this was supposed to be a good, DC Rebirth. Okay, go ahead. I'm going to keep listening.
This is only making it more
You've
complex.
got 3 Wolverines now. One of them is on every X-Men team.
So then you have the Gold Team. The Gold Team is now Kitty Pryde,
Old Man Logan,
which is the other Wolverine, Rachel Summers, going by a different name, like Slingshot or something.
Berserker Barrage!
Nightcrawler, Colossus, Storm, because Kitty Pryde said, no, you're not leaving, you are going to stay. So those are the 2 flagship titles, X-Men Blue and X-Men Gold. Those are the team books, and those are the kind of characters we know. And then you also have solo books like Jean Grey. Not original Jean Grey, but original Jean Grey. What the hell did I just say? Jesus, that's confusing.
The dead one?
Because again, and following the Wolverine model, it's not enough for people to have adventures in team books. They also have to have solo adventures that don't account for how they're splitting their time doing so many things.
Sure.
So the Jean Grey book is written by Dennis Hopeless, and it just follows the adventures of the original Jean Grey, trying to figure out why the Phoenix Force is coming to her, because she doesn't want it, because she saw how much it killed the original Jean Grey and what it did to her.
Even though she is the
Even though
original
she is.
Jean Grey.
It is so confusing, but it's actually not a bad book. Then we have Iceman. And pretty much it's the story of Iceman wanting to come out to his parents about being gay, right? Like, he had such a hard time coming out as a mutant because his dad's kind of a bigot. And now he has to, like, tell him, oh, by the way, I'm also gay.
Now, I haven't read that one. Is it addressing the fact that he's also telling them this as his future parents, so they're 30 years older?
No, this is our Iceman. Old Iceman.
Old Iceman.
Yeah, so
Okay.
let's set both Icemen are gay. So
Iceman.
Original Iceman came back and said Jean Grey outed him, right? He's gay. So, honestly, this is how the story... I'm not kidding. This is Brian Michael Bendis, but old Iceman was like, well, I guess I must be gay too. Right? And that's how it went.
Because that's how you question your sexuality.
And then we have Weapon X. Weapon X is the story of the Weapon X program, but it's weird, like Sabretooth, Old Man Logan, and then it's got Lady Deathstrike. It's got Warpath, pretty interesting. And then it also has Domino. So those are the
Domino.
5. Everybody remember Domino from X-Force? Yes. So apparently she's part of this Weapon X thing now. The Weapon X project is creating a new breed of robots because Bastion. And they now want to... So they're taking DNA from different mutants to make the perfect robot. So anyway, the stories are fun. So really quick, Laura Kinney kind of started off in a series called NYX, and she was a hooker. And then she was mute, so she couldn't talk. And then she evolved from that to somebody that can talk, to something that was just a killing machine in X-Force. And from there, she joined the all-new X-Men, and then she joined the current line of X-Men, and now she is all-new Wolverine. And I like it. It is a very endearing book. She has her own clone, a little mini-me. Because Wolverine was always one of these characters that always took someone under his wing. Jubilee,
Right.
Shadowcat, Rogue, and just Armor, just to name a few. So it makes sense for her to take a young girl under her wing and kind of become her little protege, like, even though it's a clone of her. But it's a very endearing book. I really like Laura. You're right. I like the way that she has evolved into a character. And I'm okay with her donning the costume of my favorite character. It makes sense. It's good. And I like the stories.
That sounds interesting.
And then we have Old Man Logan, which, once again, I talked about a little bit, how Old Man Logan is now living in the 616 universe because of Secret Wars. But I like this version of Old Man Logan more than I did the Old Man Logan from the Mark Millar run. Mm-hmm. This is the version that was written by Jeff Lemire. Just
to jump in, I will say is it X-Men Gold that he's in?
He's in X-Men Gold.
So there, it doesn't read like a character who's different from the Wolverine we all know and love, who is old to begin with. I mean, it just reads
other than the old jokes.
Yeah, I mean, it just, I'm so old. I mean, really, it's like, it's Wolverine with occasionally, like, complaining about how old he is.
My back hurts.
How is the solo series different?
So the solo series kind of gave him a purpose. He's here, so he's like, okay, I know what I gotta do. Because in the future, he kills the X-Man, his wife and kid die. I'm going to stop that from happening. I'm going to kill the people responsible for this, right? So he starts making a list, and Bruce Banner's on this list. And
Cersei
that's not going to go well.
Right. Okay, so he goes and okay, I'm going to go kill the Hulk. And it's Amadeus Cho, because everybody knows now that the Hulk is Amadeus Cho. And it's not Bruce Banner. And he's like, oh man, Bruce died during Civil War II. And he's like, oh shit, well that fucks up my list. Okay. So I'm going to start over. It's not my universe anymore. This is a whole different world. And then there was a storyline where he goes to Japan. But the last Jeff Lemire storyline I found really cool. And it was one where he's just propelled through time. Through the different timelines in Wolverine's life. Like from Wolverine #1, the Dark Phoenix Saga, Uncanny X-Men 135, Hulk 181. All these big staples in Wolverine's life. Marvel Comics 72 with the Weapon X project. His mind is going through there because he's trying to get to his time. And he makes it back to his time. He makes it back to the part where his wife and kids, before they're killed by the Hulk clan. And I thought that was really cool. I'm like, okay, he's back. And he's like, I can stay here. I can make things right. But apparently something keeps him from changing the way the past is. His past, our future. Weird, I know. But I thought it was really cool that he got to hold his kids one time. And the way it was written was really, really pretty. Like, he's like, it was nice to feel like my kid, like, hugging me again. And my wife, waking up next to her. I thought that was really cool. And that was Jeff Lemire's last story arc. Now Old Man Logan will have a new writer, Ed Brisson. And I haven't read his stories yet. But Ed Brisson is going to be taking over Cable, which is also the other book, and I briefly mentioned Cable a few episodes back.
How many are we at now? Okay.
I'm serious, there's 10, so keep up. So, Cable has just been right now hopping through time and space, chasing some guy named Conquest.
Because there's a time sword. And
I don't
they're
know.
trying to put together the time sword.
But Cable-
we don't know anything about why they want a time sword or
It's for
who
the Time
Conquest
Lord.
is.
So Cable is going to be one of those
Ignores
books.
us all.
I'm so good at that now. Cable's going to be one of those books that is going to be renumbered. Like, it's going to be one of those legacy numbers. So it's going to be Cable and new X-Force, right? Whatever. But I'm looking forward to it already because we're about 5 issues into Cable, and it's James Robinson, and I hate that.
Deadpool around anywhere?
He is. He's with the Uncanny Avengers. I'm not counting that as a title. Just because that would be 11, and that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. 11 titles.
That's 90s talk.
Yeah. Speaking of 90s, Generation X is back, and it's Jubilee. She's still a vampire, and she still has a baby.
What the fuck?
Well, hold on.
Oh my God.
Jubilee's what now?
Jubilee was made into a vampire after a bunch of mutants lost their powers.
Wait, is this a what if?
No, it actually had because they were trying to tie in the
Oh,
younger
look at
generation
her.
with
She's the
Twilight
X-Men
and stuff.
Oh, wait.
now.
Is she sparkly?
No, I know this because I went to Dragon Con one time. I was dressed as Jubilee, and they're like, "So, what do you feel about Jubilee being a vampire?" And I was like, "Fuck you, what?"
Why are you cursing people out?
Because I
This is
didn't
why
know
people don't like
Jubilee
cosplayers.
became a vampire, and I was like, "Well,
She did.
someone
She has
was-
a baby now. His name's Shogo. But anyway, we're continue with Generation X. Her and Chamber are the 2 reoccurring characters that are back from the original set of Gen Xers. M, sort of, but she's more empath. Do you remember that
That's-
Larry
Yeah.
Hama story where M and empath kind of split, and it wasn't an empath, it was really M-plate. I'm sorry, M-plate, not empath. Anyway, it's a really
He's just making
confusing
things up
story.
now.
Oh no, you think it's silly now. 90s X-Men was just as silly. Then we have the Eye Guy, and we have Nature Girl, and we have all these new characters that... it's one of those titles that I wish there was maybe more of the students that we already have established, perhaps from like Wolverine and the X-Men. Like the Eye...
Do these
Eye
guys
Dude.
have names yet? Or are they just like,
Oh, I wasn't kidding. Nature Girl is a name. I can't remember the Eye Guy's name.
Oh.
No, I don't remember it either. This
Oh,
strikes
and
me as
Quentin
one of those
Quires in it.
Books
I do
that
like Quentin.
doesn't really have a reason to exist.
Cashing in on the name and bringing a little nostalgia to people that liked Jubilee and Chamber and those characters.
People who are willing to spend $50 in a month on Xbooks.
maybe a
Those
tie-in
guys.
to the movies that have come out?
Well, there is no Gen X movies. So.
No. So it's all nostalgia based on Generation X.
All right, so that's 9, I
9.
think.
So 10 is Astonishing X-Men.
That's the good one, right?
That was the one that was That was the one that was written. That was the one that was written by Joss Whedon. I do like the team. I love the artwork because it's.
Who's this team?
So we got Archangel, Rogue, Phantom X, Psylocke, and Old Man Logan, and Bishop.
Bishop!
That's where he's been. Bishop's back, bitches, and he's good again.
Did Joss Whedon specifically choose this team to
This
write
is
about?
not Joss Whedon. This is Charles Soule. And honestly, I don't think that guy knows how the X-Men work. Apparently, right now, do you guys know who the Shadow King is? I know he
Yes.
does.
Yeah.
So Shadow King is a psychic villain, right? Like he attacks your
Yes,
mind.
yeah.
But he's been dead. But he's back because he's a villain. But he's playing chess against Professor Xavier, who's also dead. So I don't know how this is working. I don't know if they're bringing
Sorry,
back
bro.
Professor X. But this is
I'll give you one guess.
Sorry, bro.
But wait, guys, it's not over yet because there's also going to be a Gambit and Rogue book coming out. There's going to be a Legion book coming out. We know Jean Grey is coming back because of her own miniseries later this year. And because we all read Marvel Legacy, we know our Logan, our Wolverine is back.
I want to catch up on All New Wolverine.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it. And only Wolverine, and I think you would like Old Man Logan. It's a good story.
Yeah, I should read that one.
It's
I
Jeff
don't know why
Lemire.
I'm spending my time reading Cable.
I don't either. Yeah, God, Cable is bad.
Are you
Astonishing X-Men is bad. Jean Grey's okay, and Iceman's okay at most. Weapon X is a lot more fun than I thought I would. Like especially with this weapons of mass destruction storyline where they're breeding a perfect weapon by putting the DNA of Hulk and Wolverine together.
I saw that episode of G.I. Joe.
Serpentor!
So the question is, of these 10 X-Men books, which one should
All
I
new
care
X-Men. All new Wolverine. Sorry.
All new Wolverine.
All new
Okay.
Wolverine for
Okay.
sure. I love that.
That sounds actually
More
kinda
than
cool.
I should. thank you very much for watching. If we missed a title that you think is a great X title, please leave it down below in our comments. If this is your first time watching our video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like the video. Thanks again.
Said it the size of things.
Yeah, you did.
So what happened?
Nothing.
Oh, you looked at me with disapproval. Oh!
Yes, because I get
You're acting. Fuck. One take Dan and his sidekick, dumbass Omar. Strike again. All right.